Hello, hi, bonjour. As you can probably tell, we did the 4L trophy this year, and while I was preparing the trip, I had a lot of questions, and when we were posting our videos, people came back to ask us some questions, so I thought I would do this video to give you some answers that I wish I had while preparing, and also there's not a lot of English resources out there. Most of them are French, since the entire organization is French-based. The first question I see a lot on the Facebook group is who can join? Simple answer, anyone between 18 and 28 who have a driver license, but you can have some special derogation. We saw someone join the rally with their dad, so that was super cute and fun. So you do need to go on their website and click contact them to know a bit more about what you have to provide them. Usually it's just saying you're very motivated to do so. You do not need to be French speaking because all of the papers are both in French and English, so as long as you speak one of these languages or understand a little bit. You can also have someone who's French speaking in your team because you're in a team of 2 people, one driver and one co-pilot. So that means you cannot be speaking French or English very well and have someone who's part of explaining things to you. The second most asked question is how much does it cost? So that is a very wide question because everyone prepares their car differently. So obviously if you got the registration cost, which is about 300 euros, you can get a discount if you register earlier, up to 1 year early. You get, I think, up to 200 euros less. The second most important part is the car. The car can cost nothing if you already have one, up to, I don't know, I've seen some being sold 6,000 euros, something like that. So that can be pretty expensive. In terms of comparison, we paid ours, I think, 3,800 euros. So if you have one and you want to spend time on it, which is a good part of the adventure, you can also rent one. I think renting price start at 1,000 euros, 1,200, something like that. So that could be a good alternative if you don't want to spend time on your car, if you can't spend that much time on your car. For people like us who had a job at the same time, it was quite overwhelming to prepare everything. The registration include the ferry from Algeciras to Tanger in Morocco. It also includes food at night once you're in the race, meaning that from Biarritz to Algeciras you are entirely on your own. You do have to pay for your food, for your water, for your accommodation, and I think the first step in Morocco also you're on your own for your food and beverage. If you have any diet restriction, they do not provide food for you. For example, I cannot eat dairy and I don't eat meat, and they just said go get yourself some food and cook yours. So I had to cook my food every night, so that was extra for me. The gas that you're gonna put on your car is not included as well, neither on the actual trip or the race. You do have to pay for it, either on a gas station on the border of the highway, for example, or in the race when you're in the middle of the desert. They have a truck filled with gas and you go see the organization. You have to pay in euros, in cash, and they fill your jerrycan. Gas in Morocco is not expensive at all. In Spain it's cheaper than France, so gas is not the big part, but try to remember that this is gonna cost a bit of money. On the charity part, which is widely sold to everyone, you do need to give 10 kilos of food at La Croix-Rouge, the Red Cross in Biarritz. It can be pasta, coffee, beans, anything that you can find. A little trick for you: if you do not want to carry these 10 kilos on your car all the way from where you live to Biarritz, there is a supermarket right next to the place where you get your verification done, so I would encourage you to go buy the food there. You also have to get bags of sports supply and school supplies, either one bag of each and 20 euros, or two bags of each minimum. You can bring more if you can carry it on your car. For our trip, because we want it to be as low in carbon emission as possible, all of the things were secondhand, like good quality secondhand, not crappy stuff. So that's something you can start with, looking into your old closet and find things. My mom loved finding old school supplies they had. You can also talk to big companies, some that could give you some stuff for you in exchange of a sticker on your car, for example. That's how sponsors works. I know some people bring a lot of things for the association Les Enfants du Désert, which is great, because one of the biggest challenges of having things to send to these kids is bringing them to the place where these kids need them. As you can probably see on our video, the desert is quite a remote location. You have to cross the Atlas on the other side of the country. So that's the biggest challenge of it. In exchange of having an exciting experience in Morocco, we also get to move supplies. The money there is dirham. It's about 10 times 1 euro, so 5 euros equal 50 dirhams there. And life is pretty cheap there, so you'll be able to buy food, water and stuff like that pretty easily. We change, I think, 300 euros for the gas, the toll, and food and shopping, and we still have, I think, about 50 euros in dirhams. About water, the organization will give you 2 bottles of water each morning, so that's about 3 liters once you started the race. And that was not enough for us. We started the adventure with 18 liters of water in the car, and keep in mind that we had to cook our food every lunch and night, so that used a lot of water. So we bought, I think, 2 more 8-liter bottles in corner shop just to be safe, because tap water is not potable in Morocco. One thing Moroccan friends told me is that make sure the ring is not broken while you buy your bottle, because people tend to refill the water and close the bottles, so you're not sure it's potable, but they sell it anyway. Bit of advice there. I'm very glad they told me that, so we had to check every time we bought water. Another question that I see a lot is, do I need to have mechanical capabilities? I would say no, you don't have to be a mechanic to be there, because there are some people helping you all the way in Morocco, maybe a bit in Spain if you're lucky. But I think it's important that you know what's in your car. I saw some people having trouble with their lights, and it was just an electrical wire that just got loose and stuff like that, when we had issue with our gearbox that was leaking, and we had to wait for these people to find the actual thing that bugged, while we had like bigger issues, like we couldn't get the car going. And so if you do know a bit, you get way quicker into what's wrong with your car. You can identify when noises are wrong or stuff like that. So make sure to be a little bit interesting in what goes in your car. I would recommend you to go on a Facebook group called Entraide 4L Trophy. It's mainly French speaking, but you can find English speaker in there, and they'll answer any question you might have. There is also a website that I loved using, also in French, but I think Google Translate is quite good on this one. It's called La 4L de Sylvie. We found all the electrical wired map of our car in that, and it helped us quite a lot. So if you have any question about your car, go check these. I'll also put the link on the description below. Another question that I had was about the toilets and the shower. So most of your time from Biarritz to Algeciras, we were on our own, and we chose to sleep on hotels, so we could have hot shower and food. So on that part I was good. But from Algeciras you are sleeping in a bivouac, meaning that you off the car in a field, basically. We tried to be a little bit on our side of the camp to have a bit of privacy, but you definitely have to go pee on your own. Try to hide yourself from it. Most of the trip, once you get on Merzouga camp, you do have showers and toilets, but there is a lot of people. You very often have 15 to 20 minute queue for the showers, which meant that I never used them. For the toilets, you're stuck into some plastic sheets, meaning that with the heat and the natural gas your body produces, it does things. And as I mentioned, we did a carbon compensated raid, meaning that all the carbon that we emitted during this raid has been compensated. We did 2 donations, one to Reforestation, which planted a bit more than 10 trees for 30 euros that compensate 1,400 kilograms of carbon dioxide. And the foundation Good Planet, which has been created by Yann-Arthus Bertrand, which is one of the biggest French advocates for climate change. I was in love with his pictures since I was a kid, so it was very important for me to give to this foundation. And we gave also 30 euros to them. So we calculated that we emitted about 1,300 and we compensated for 2,800 kilograms of CO2. So I'm very proud of us for that. We also made sure that we had zero waste item with us. I will make a video on that. The last question we had was, what next? We do still have the car. It's not going well. It's on the garage. We need to put the motor down and the gearbox. So we need to work on it, but we want to do the 4 Alpes rally maybe next year if everything goes as planned. So we're going to do a rally in the Alps that doesn't have any age limitation. I'm very looking forward to that because it's right next door. I mean, I live like 1 hour away from the Alps, so I'm very excited about that. Actually, we're in lockdown because of COVID-19. It went a bit weird because we left France and we are completely cut from the world because we didn't have internet during the ride. And COVID was like something we knew was on the back of our mind, but still not completely grown. And then we crossed the border in France, and I remember there's this light display sign saying, "Be careful, COVID." We got home, start back at work, and 3 days later I'm sent back home because one of my coworkers has a suspicion of being sick, and I haven't left home since. So that's a bit unreal. It did not stop us from doing the ride. We left Morroco, I think 2 weeks before they closed their borders. So we were lucky on that one. I hope it won't affect that much next year. Adventure, I think companies will have less money to give to people wanting to do the raid. If I could give you an advice, don't rely on money from companies. Try to do events, sell t-shirts, I don't know, cookies and stuff like that. Speak about your project to your employer, to your friends, your family. Maybe they will have some idea, and it's okay to spend a bit of your own money on this adventure because it's worth it. So I hope this video was interesting for you. If it did, give it a thumbs up. If you do have any other question, please leave them down below. I'll do my best to answer them for you. If you know a friend that wants to start the 4 Alpes trophy, share this video to them. It helps me a lot. And if you like what I do, you can go check this other video. It's about the 4 Alpes trophy, and this one, I think it might interest you. And I hope to see you next time.